Morning, everybody, or afternoon or evening, depending on where you are. My name's Donna, and this is Blind and Knitting, a podcast that I bring to you to show you my crafts, my arts, a little bit about mental health, which I'm really passionate about, and sometimes what's in the garden and etc. I do find that most people that knit also love doing all sorts of other crafts. And occasionally, I haven't done this very often, I haven't put about my guide dog. So blind and knitting is because I am legally blind. I have a teeny weeny funnel of sight, which is about my palm size, which is kind of okay sight if I use it well, like take care of it. So I'm able to be able to do my knits, etc. So I'm hoping that I can sort of motivate and inspire people that are struggling to really get out there and do something. You know, you've got to have a passion. You've got to do something that blows your hair back, something that you really enjoy. And certainly this is mine, and it's helped my mental health incredibly, and it still does help my mental health, you know, all the time. So, and I have said in other podcasts, I've suffered with anxiety all my life. In fact, I had an anxiety attack this morning, and I thought, oh, there's such it's a very real feeling, of you're not sure whether something's coming, like a massive heart attack or something. So it is a very real feeling. So if you do suffer with anxiety, there's people out there to help. I feel for you, and I hope that you get some tips along the way on my podcast. Anyway, this is episode number 17, and it is I think it's the 10th of July. Where has this year gone? 10th of July, my goodness. Anyway, welcome to my podcast. I hope if you're a new subscriber, I hope you enjoy my podcast. If you're an existing subscriber that's watched me before, welcome back. Please push the subscribe button down below if you want to be told when I do a new podcast, and there's a little alarm bell beside it. If you click that and say all, it will come up with when you'll get notifications of when my podcasts are. So welcome, and let's get started. It's been such a hectic couple of weeks. I have had, last time we spoke, I talked about my changeover, which is where I became the president of our Rotary Club. So that was a big thing coming up, and we're kind of getting into the swing of the year with that one. And I'm sort of strategically planning and doing all those things that you need to do to move ahead with my team this year. And then I also had the privilege to so let me start from the start. Wairapa Resource Centre is an op shop with a difference in the Wairarapa here. I live in New Zealand, the North Island of New Zealand, and so I was one of the founding members. There's two or three of us that got together and realised there was a real need for youth employment, support for people that have made mistakes and need a second chance or need confidence building, but also op shop clothing, etc., for vulnerable families that are at a lower cost. There's some wonderful op shops, but they do, some of their prices are quite pricey, and for us, if we can save our vulnerable families a few dollars to get raincoats for the children, that's a few loaves of bread or a bottle of milk for them. So it's something that we're really passionate about. We also like the concept of not letting too much go down to the transfer station and the rubbish dump, or whatever. I'm not sure what you call it where you're listening from. Transfer station is what we call them here, or rubbish dump, or tip, or where you throw your rubbish anyway. So we try and eliminate much going to that. It's our 10 years, it was our 10-year celebration. We've been running for 10 years very successfully, which I'm super proud of. And so we had a big 10-year celebration last week, where we all had a big dinner. There was about, 50 of us. Our worship, the mayor, Lynn, came. She was one of the people, as myself and Sandy and Frances were the ones that kind of got it started at the beginning, so it was really lovely to have her there, but it was a special time. But these do's and all this work has taken away from my knitting time. That I've still managed to fit some in. I don't have any FOs today, any finished objects, but I do have my whips that I've had, and I thought I'd go through where I'm at with those and my thoughts on those. And I have a couple of acquisitions, so I thought I'd go through those. We've got in August in New Zealand and on the North Island, we have an annual thing called Knit Autumn Nights, Can, and it's run by Skeins, which is a wool company here in New Zealand. I've never been, but I've booked and I'm going, and I'm really excited because this is the first time I've ever been away on a knitting retreat with a lot of lovely ladies. So we're having 3 nights away up by the beach, which will be even nicer in Napier. It's a beautiful place, and if you know New Zealand, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So workshops, I was in a bit late for a lot of the workshops, so I kind of didn't book in quick enough to get some of them, but I did get ordered book in for 2 workshops. Spinning, because I'd really love to learn to spin when I retire, so it would be nice to have a feel for that. And the other one was, I can't even remember what it was, to be honest. No, I've forgotten, but that's okay. So when I've gone to that, I'll take lots of pictures and yeah, I'll come back with lots of information and stuff from that. I have been saving a little bit each week so that I can make some lovely purchases, because I'm sure there'll be some beautiful wool there. And I'm looking forward to meeting some more podcasters, so some of our New Zealand podcasters and wool and knitting specialists. In New Zealand we've got some wonderful wool and knitting specialists. So that's coming up. What am I wearing? So I think I'm not sure if I've worn this before on here. This I knit. Wait for it. I knit this over 30 years ago. My children were little. And so, when you knit with good wool and take care of it, your woolens do last a lifetime. So Aaron's were all the rage in the 80s when my kids were little, and they had lovely Aaron jerseys, and I used to wear this with a tartan skirt. So yeah, actually I could have some tartan pants or something, would be really cool. So it's a bomber length, if I can show you. It's a bomber length. So it sits on the waist, which is quite nice with the skirt. It's the sleeves I'm not overly fussed on. They do decrease quite quickly, but it's a good length, it's a good size, it fits well. Cool buttons. Probably don't know if I can even get those now. If you can see those, they quite suit the thing. I might take this off though, because I am piping hot in it. I've got the fire going, and so I just put it on to show you one of my knits. It's winter, it's the middle of winter in New Zealand at the moment, and so yeah, I've been wearing my knits every day. It's been lovely. Pardon me, I've really enjoyed putting my hand on my knits and actually wearing them, and yeah, and because I've knitted quite a few, which is new for me, sort of short sleeved or 3/4 sleeve 4 plies, like my raindrops and my Sesha, because they get so hot. I mean, I've found them to be ideal, and I've fallen in love with 4 ply. You can see the minute I started getting hot in that, I know I've got to take it off, because once I get hot, woman my age will understand, but once I get hot, there's no coming back from it. Yes, so that's what I was wearing. I can't tell you the pattern. I'm really sorry. It will be a Patons or it'll be something like that, Patons probably, because that's kind of what I used, and it will have been a natural homespun wool, which is all I even knitted with in those days. yeah, but I do love it. I don't wear it a lot because for the obvious reason. I'm sure there'll be a time when I can wear it again more often. So that's what I was wearing. It's gone now. What's happened? Another couple of things that have happened is I had a meeting in Carterton the other day, which is another town sort of 10 minutes away. And I also had a lunch with my Y Blind group, which is, I've talked about them before. It's a lovely, wonderful group of people that are all blind and low visioned. And we all met for lunch. We meet monthly and we thought we'll have a lunch this time. So we met for lunch and I had an hour or an hour and a half's gap between the meeting and the lunch. And my daughter came with me because she works for me and also knows that she's got my eye disease, and in the future, so she comes to Y Blind just to kind of get tips on how to manage her sight problem she's going to have in the future. And so while we were there, I said to them, we've got an hour and a half. Why don't we go to Greytown and have a look? And there's a shop in Greytown called Miss Maudie's or Maud's. Miss Maud's or Maudie's? Oh, gosh. Sure, now that I've said that, isn't that awful? But anyway, we went to have a look at this woolen fabric shop, and it is just beautiful. I went to all of the woolen fabric shops in Greytown and a craft shop to and had a look, and they were all lovely. They're beautiful, but Miss Maud's is just stunning. Greytown is having, and it was on our local New Zealand news, a 1 month of July mid-Christmas celebration. So Greytown, all of the shops have brought into it. So they've got Christmas decorations, and we were given gingerbread to take home, and it was just lovely. It just brightened up everybody's day. Miss Maud's had huge knitting needles. They must have been 60 centimeters long, and my wrist size, with a great big long piece of knitting on it, and it was sitting outside, so you were able to, and I'm going to put a photo of my daughter, I'll put it here, where you can see where she has sat to do some big knitting. But the other thing that they had, we had a long time in the shop, and I was chatting away there to the owner of the shop, who has a Instagram and often goes live, so I do recommend you have a look, and I will put a link below so you can chase that up and have a look. She also had in this big basket a whole lot of, and I would say bulky knit wool, beautiful wool, and a pair of needles and a piece of knitting, just plain straight knitting. And if you knit, for every 1 inch that's knit on it, so anyone can go in there and just knit there for a while. If you knit on it, for every 1 inch that's knit, they will donate $5 to our local hospice, which is just awesome. So I sat there and knit an inch. So I'll plant another photo of me sitting there knitting an inch. So that was fun. I did buy some things and I will show you later in acquisition. So yeah, I did have a little spendy there. Not too big a one because I'm trying to save for August nights, and yeah, but that was great fun. Also Palliser Ridge, I have talked about them before. We went down to their knit day. They have once a month they have a knit group that meet in their wool shed. Palliser Ridge is a working farm, huge working farm, and it also has its own wool spun and sold there. They get blankets made, and they've got into felting now, but so they've got a shop with cones and skeins for sale. But yeah, you sit in the wool shed and meet these lovely people, and I really enjoyed it. But I have noticed on Facebook they have now changed the day, so it's not a Sunday that they're running. So I will link them below as well, because it's a wonderful knit group and a fantastic shop, great and a lovely wool. It's very rustic wool. It's very much toothy wool, but it's a beautiful 100% New Zealand wool. So I will link them below as well. Anyway, that's kind of what's been happening. It's been, so a lot of my things have taken away from my knitting, But yeah, so what have I done? Let's just go through my whips one at a time, and we can talk about them each one. So this one here, and I still cannot pronounce the name right, it's Haleakala. Haleakala. And I can't even pronounce the lady's name, I'm sorry, but it will be linked below. It's a vest with round neck, no sleeved straight vest, and it's got a lace panel, and I've shown you the picture. The picture is here somewhere. It's a DK, and I'm knitting it in 100% New Zealand wool, which is a wool that I got from the warehouse, Uncle Bill's here. You can see that it's quite pale, but it's a very elegant tank top. And after I've started knitting it, I read the pattern again, blind, you see, no, just whip it on. And it's knit. This is knit out of a linen cotton, and I'm knitting it out of a pure wool, 100% pure wool. But I got gauge, so we'll see what happens. Now, it's got a lace pattern down each side, and there it is there. Well, it's not really lace, it's kind of a crisscross. See that? Yeah. This pattern, now, I don't recommend it for first-time knitters. It is, I'm guessing, oh gosh, I've run out of my little rubber things that I usually run around them because they're all on one of my projects. I haven't tied my needles together. This is a lovely colour, and it is a very toothy wool. But I did, when I did my swatch, I've got swatches here somewhere. I blocked it and washed it, and it's quite soft. So it will soften up. And I do only do little swatches. I don't do great big ones, but I know we're supposed to do big ones, but I'm lazy. I just want to get on to the project. That's my bag of swatches that I just keep handy for whatevers. So back to the pattern. It is challenging to understand, and I think what's happened is that it has been translated into English, and I've kind of got the pattern now, but by golly, there were some swear words. I just did not, I mean, it's in English, but very, I don't know, confusing, and I just couldn't work out why I didn't get it. And I'm pretty sure it's because it's been translated, and it's just a, you know how sometimes the sentences are back to front, or so I wouldn't recommend it for first-time knitters because I consider myself a reasonably competent knitter, and I still haven't really got a handle on this pattern. I get what I'm doing, but I just keep forgetting it, and I have to keep going back to the pattern and double reading it, and yeah. But I think it'll look lovely when it's done. I'm quite looking forward to it. It's got a really cool little hem. So it didn't really even explain what the hem was about until I thought, I just kind of had to guess. It doesn't hold your hand. It's like, oh, okay, so it must go this way and have like this tube around, which I like. But just, yeah. Anyway, so I'll keep you informed. As you can see, I've kind of been plodding away on it. It's a lot of stitches, 260 stitches. And I'm a big girl. I know I'm a size 18, and I have measured the tape measure around, and it will fit. And I don't mind. I would like it to have a little bit of ease, but so I don't want it with negative ease. I want a little bit of ease, but I don't want it boxy. And I think that's what will happen. I think that's where I'll be at. Yeah, so that's that one. I am pottering along, and I have made progress, but slow progress. Firstly, because I just get really confused, and it's like, I keep telling myself, okay, spend some time on it and get this pattern in your head. But for some reason, there's a real mental block there. Yeah, so it's not quite in my head, but I'll get there. My morning coffee. I don't know if I said this at the beginning. I've got the house to myself for the weekend. My partner has gone to rugby. He went yesterday, which was Saturday, in Carterton. He's gone to watch a finals game with his mate, and he's going to stay at his mate's for the night. And so I had all of last night, all of yesterday, and all of last night, and I've got half of today on my own. And I love my partner. I love him being here, but sometimes it's just nice to have the place to yourself. And my partner won't eat curries or anything, doesn't like rice and won't eat curries. So the minute he was out the door, on went the green Thai curry and the rice. So I sat there last night with the green Thai curry, rice, my knitting, and my podcast up on my TV, because normally I watch my podcast on my phone so that he can watch TV. I was in heaven. Oh, and a glass of red wine. I was in heaven. Yeah, so that was quite nice. So it gave me quite a bit of knitting time too. Although I did get stuck, I'm rambling now, but you're just going to get that with me. A long, long time ago, we started watching the Vikings together. Now, I quite like those raw, gritty sort of programs that have got a bit of grit to them. And we started watching it together, and I thought, oh, well, we both said, yep, we're going to like this. And I went to bed, and Stuart did an all-nighter and watched the whole blessed lot, a whole series of it. So he got way ahead of me, and I got grumpy, and I thought, oh, there's no point, he's watched it now. Can't even watch together. Well, last night I thought, oh, okay, I've been watching podcasts for quite some time. I'll watch, and then I went through Netflix, and Vikings kept coming up, and I thought, okay, well, I watched 6 series of it. I just did a what do they call it when you sit and just watch, whatever they call it. Yeah, and I love it. It's really, really good. I had to, because of my sight, I don't see TV clearly, and so I had to kind of really keep an eye on it, because I wanted to. There's nothing worse than getting into a series but really not understanding who the characters are and where they fit in and that. So for the first couple, I was really concentrating on who the characters were, the history of it, and all that sort of thing. So, yeah. But anyway, I watched six of them last night. Didn't get a lot of knitting done because I was so busy concentrating on it. But I had a lovely night. And it's early morning. It's only 9 o'clock. Oh no, it's 10 to 10 now. But when I started getting organised for this, it was 9 o'clock, and I thought I'll get this done and say hi to you guys, and then I'm going to sit down and knit by the fire, because it is miserable weather. It is the middle of winter, and we've finally got a bit of rain, which we haven't had. We've had gorgeous days, but I quite like rain too. I love listening to it on the roof and sitting with the fire and my knitting and a cup of coffee, and yeah. So my next whip that I'm working on is, what is this one? Oh, this one is the Birkin. And that's it there. It's an older pattern, but it is a colour work, 4-ply colour work by Caitlin Hunter. And I'm quite looking forward to this one. But again, it's one of those ones that I have to make sure I've got good light. And this is the one that a friend of mine, Sandy, helped me cast on. But I have made progress. I have started the colour work, and this is where all my little rubbery things are that I was looking for to hold my needles together. So, where am I? I've made progress. That's my colour work started there. See, those are the leaves. My mission today is, because it's quite long, and I don't know if, people say that they catch them every 3rd stitch. I'm thinking, how the jolly well do you catch them? So I don't know. So God bless podcasts and YouTube. So that's my mission when I finished here, is to find out how you catch your floats, because they are getting a bit long. But I'm loving the colours together. It is one that I have to make sure I've got really good light. And the pattern is only a 6-stitch pattern, but you increase as you go, so that'll increase. I'm quite looking forward to this, and I do love 4-ply now. I used to sort of shy away from knitting 4-ply, and well, yes, it takes a bit longer, but it's lovely to wear. It's really nice. So I am enjoying that. This is with Happy Go Knitty's Mardi, which is a stunning wool. It's a merino yak silk. I think, but I will link it below. It's just beautiful. It's what I knitted my session in, so it's the second garment I've knit in this, and I have bought another garment lots worth, so that's how much I love it. And the colour work I'm doing in this, which is a hand-dyed indie one from a place called Squishy McDo's, and that's where I did my colour work, hand-dyed colour work workshop through Squishy McDo's. So that one is ticking along as well quite nicely. So that's the next whip. What are the other ones? I'm just moving things around so I can show you. Oh yes, my half and half wrap. Sorry for reaching in like that, but that's what you have to do. My half and half wrap. So I bought this wool off Facebook. Supposedly it was 3 100-gram skeins. It's 3-ply merino mohair, and it's just beautiful. It's a homespun, so I just love it. And I started knitting this, and then I started worrying about the weight of the, where's my knitting? Oh, it's there. The weight of the wool. So I weighed it, which is always a bit of a mish for me because I can't read my scales. So here's another tip. If you have trouble reading your scales or reading anything small, get your camera, take a photo, and expand your photo to read whatever you're looking at. So yeah, half and half wrap. There isn't actually a picture on my pattern, but it is one of those ones that pretty much everyone knows. It's a great big huge shawl, and it's knit in two triangular halves. And so this is where I've done quite a bit of it because it is 3-ply, and it's done on 3.25 needles, so it's going to take a bit, but there it is. So I've done that. But then anyway, so back to weighing my wool. Well, I don't have enough wool. I was going to knit one side in the white or cream and one side in the fawn. Now I don't want to get near to the end of the white and realise that I don't have enough wool, because it says I need 300 grams and I've only got 200 grams, which is a considerable amount short. So what I think I will do is I think I will make this side striped. So I'll do stripes of this, quite big stripes. So I'm thinking about this size of the fawn and the cream. And then I'm going to do another colour, just a plain colour for the other side. So I've been looking for 3-plies in another colour. Now I got my colour wheel out, my one from the paint shop, to see what colours go the best with this fawn and the cream. And they're saying, well, they, like it talked to me, no it didn't, don't worry. It said sort of a turquoise would be your best colour, and I'm thinking I quite like turquoise, but to be honest I'm leaning to baby pink, which is one of my favourite colours. So I'm going to I might even find something up at the retreat when we're up there. So I'm not in any hurry. It's one of these just love knitting, plain garter stitch, and I'll do the stripes. I'll get the first half done, and then I'm sure whatever will come for the second half will come. So that is whip number 1, 2, 3. Whip number 3. I'll have a break and tell you a little bit about these. I made my grandchildren all wheaty bags. Here they are. Well, these are the spare ones. So I made a whole lot of spare ones. Now I'm picking these up very carefully because my lovely grandson got his wet, and of course it's wheat. So once it's wet, it's had it. So I said, I said to his mum, Kushla, don't worry, I've got plenty more of them. I made spares to give us, for gift giving, etc. Well, mice have found my wheaty bags. So they are going to need, I obviously can't wash them because they've got wheat in them. Or I suppose I could pull the wheat out, but I can sponge them. And there's a hole in one of them right there. So, darling mice, I found them. So they're going to now live in a plastic container. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix that hole and sponge that one. I'll keep that one for myself because I do use wheaty bags quite a bit for myself for aches and pains. I love wheaty bag. And Braden can have my one, which hasn't been touched by mice. So those are my wheaty bags. But for gifts, these are great. Wheat is cheap as chips. You can buy it in seeds and cereals shops. And you just buy some flannelette or go to the op shop and get some old flannelette sheets or pillowcases. And you just make a square, fill it with wheat, and of course you heat it in the microwave with a cup of water. Put a cup of water in the microwave and then put your wheaty bag in there for 2 minutes, and then you've got like a hot water bottle. Oh, really nice. Love them. So, and my grandkids love them. That's one of the things. Every night they go, when it's bedtime, straight for their wheaty bag, heat it in the microwave, and yeah, so I guess he was quite disappointed when it got wet. Anywho, good old Nana's going to come to the rescue with another one. It always pays to make some spares. If you're making something that's really quick and cheap, throw some extra ones in for gifts. They make lovely gifts. And there's a poem, I'm pretty sure I Googled it. I've got this really cute little poem. If I find it, I'll I don't know how I link a document below, or I'll try and put it below because it's quite cute, and it's something about yeah, I can't remember it, but it's really cute, and it's about heating your wheaty sack. Be a sweetie, heat my wheaty, or something like that. Anyway, I'll put it below if I find it. If it's not there, it's because I can't find it. I haven't used it for a little while, but it's quite nice to give as a gift with the poem. And I made, sorry, back to the wheaty sacks, and I made several eye size ones so they just sit over your eyes because I get very sore eyes. So you can put them in the freezer as well and have them cold, or put them in the microwave and have them warm. So I've got a bigger one which I use for feet, back, shoulders, neck, and I've got my eye one which I use for my eyes. So next whip, I've only got one more whip, and it is, excuse me, I'm going to go down there again. Oh, that's great, isn't it, doing that? And that is this one. Now I have said this before, I really don't understand the love of knitting socks. I don't get it. I know last week I showed you my latest acquisition, which was the book 52 Weeks of Socks, and yes, I've looked through it and they're lovely. I also have knit 2 pair of socks and I love wearing them. I understand the pleasure of wearing them. I get the pleasure of wearing them. They are there's something about homemade socks, the wool and the fit and the feel is just beautiful. These are getting pretty old, so this is the pair. I couldn't find my other ones. I've made these a long time ago. They're all felted, but because I live in them, yes, so those and another pair, they were knit flat and they've got a seam in the back. So it's just an good old-fashioned book, which I should have showed you, but it's just called Socks. It's a little book. If you find it in an op shop, it's a little lime green book with socks written on it. And it's got all sorts, ankle socks, long socks, la-da-da. Very old-fashioned, but hey, it's a sock. I just wanted vanilla to learn. So, there's a hole in there, but I'm not surprised with how I live in them. So I have now learnt to love home knit socks to wear. So I thought, okay, well, I will try and discover why they're fun to knit, because I didn't really, I just knit them. It wasn't a pleasure. I just knit them. So that's what I've been trying to do. And also at the same time, I have discovered knitting in the car. There's all these podcasts and everybody says, I'm going on this trip and what knitting am I going to take? And my car knitting. So, I've never thought of knitting in the car on trips. Now, I live rurally and it's a 20-minute drive in every day and out and home. So it's 40 minutes driving every day. That's a lot of knitting time. So I have discovered the love of car knitting. I've done some of my half and half wrap because that's just garter stitch. Although I did make some mistakes because it is such a beautiful fine 3-ply wool, and it does split a wee bit. So I probably won't do that again, to be honest. But I thought, right, socks. This is when I'm going to find my passion, find my mojo for socks. So I hate this wool. I hate the colour. Isn't that ridiculous? Here I am trying to find my mojo, but my fear is that I'm going to get through halfway through them and not finish them. So I don't want to use really good wool. I suppose I could frog it, but I do like this wool for one reason. I brought this. It's called Gallipoli. It's a New Zealand wool, and for every skein that was sold, the New Zealand company that made it, it's New Zealand 100% wool. Oh no, it's got whatever that polyethylene or whatever it is, the plastic in it, not which I don't like, but if it makes my socks last longer, then they're not going to go in the tip. For every skein sold, they donate money to return servicemen, war return servicemen. So I really like that. It's not that I actually don't. I like the wool like this. It's rather pretty. I thought, oh yeah, that's pretty. I don't like it knitted up. But anyway, I have enjoyed the knitting process. I've enjoyed the process. So car knitting I love. 40 minutes a day, although sometimes I get picked up at 6:30 in the morning and or don't come home till 6:30 at night. I can't do it in the dark. I don't know how you guys go to the movies and knit. I can't. And the irony is that I'm blind and I do most of it by instinct anyway, but I just need light. This is self-striping, but it's the strangest colours. That's a change there. It changes from a dull pink to, if you can see that. So I'm just about ready to, well, I have started the ankle, the heel, beg your pardon, there. So I have started the heel, which is one where you slip and knit. Because I've only ever knit 2 pair of socks, I'm a bit, apart from booties, which I've knit hundreds of, so I understand the complexities of a heel because of booties. So yeah, I'm up to the heel. I think that's length is good. I am worried about the size. So I want to find my sweet spot. I want to find, my stitches, my length that will fit. These ones will obviously have stretched with age because they are quite a few years old now, but they are quite a bit bigger. So I think, these will fit me nicely. I have put them on and they seem to fit me nicely. So once I've done these, because I want, they talk about process knitting and product knitting. Well, I like my product. The reason I knit is for my mental health, but also because I love wearing woolens. But I want to get a passion too and I love knitting jerseys. That's my thing, is sweaters and things. I'd like to get a passion for socks because I see the beatitude in them. So I am enjoying knitting, and I do love these little, now that I've got used to them, because when I first started using them, it was like, I felt like a ning-nong with these little, like I was playing doll games with my grandchildren. But I do love those. Cool to knit with. Anyway, so let's hope that Donna carries on with that, which brings me to, and this is going to be my motivation for my to get these done, to learn my sweet spot, learn what size length that I like, and then I can start, knitting some really fun ones. And so I thought I would motivate myself by buying, and I bought these in a craft shop in Greytown, and it wasn't Miss Maud's, it was another one. And it was just called Craft and Arts Shop, I think. And this is a self-striping yarn. It is a croquis sock yarn 4-ply, and it's also one of those ones that does like a ferrule, so it will be self-striping but look like it's ferrule. And it's gorgeous. I can't read the label, and I didn't take a photo and spread it out, so I'm sorry. You'll hear more about it when I go to knit. Then I don't want to go on too much about it, but it's just lovely and soft. And so this is my motivation. This is the thing that I'm going to finish these to find my sweet spot, what I like, what I don't like, so that I can make these, and these are what excite me. That was a lot about socks. Yeah. But I've lived in mine and I love them, so I'm hoping that I get a mojo for socks. Which brings me to, I have to have a drink first. I had my favourite breakfast this morning because Stuart wasn't here, and it wasn't because it's a breakfast that Stuart loves as well, but 2 hash browns, 2 fried eggs, dry fried, not in fat or anything, two fried eggs, and my salt. Now, I was going to talk about this too. So, again, my daughter and I used to have a business called Mum's Magic Mixes, and it was a herbs and spices business, and we had it about, how long ago? 10 years ago, maybe even more than that. No, it'd be 10 years ago, or 12. My mum passed away, and I won a little bit of lotto the night she died, which was about, I don't know, a couple of $100 or something. And we went to Foxton to a little fair the next weekend, and Mum was brought up in Foxton, so I kind of felt they all came together. When we were there was a chap selling flavoured salts, or mixed salts, and I bought quite a few of them. And we loved them, like steak salt and Cajun mixed salt, that sort of thing. And I started thinking, I love these. Can't buy anything like this in Masterton that I knew of. And I said to Kushla, should we start playing with these and see what we can come up with? And we did. And so we actually came up with some really yummy salt mixes. We had like a Moroccan one, which was beautiful. We had a really hot spicy jerk one, which was beautiful. We had a really mild one, which we called baby spice, which was just a lovely warm background spice from wedges and things. And lots of salts. We made, some mixed salts. I even tried smoked bourbon salt, and yeah, but it was quite successful business, and we ran it for 2 or 3 years, selling at marts and markets and things. But it got a bit big. Kushla had a little baby, and I was busy working, and it just got a bit big, and so we threw it away. But there is one salt that I still make, well, more than one, but this is the main one, that I still make all the time and use all the time. And I had it on my breakfast this morning. We used to call it the Love Guru, and the reason for that is because it has smoked paprika in it and Himalayan rock salt, and both of them are very good for getting the blood flowing around the body. Excuse me. The paprika opens the blood vessels and gets the blood moving, and Himalayan salt is a very good one as well. And Himalayan salt is also very good in your bath, so hence the Love Guru's bath salt type thing. Anyway, I still make it, and we use it all the time, and I just thought you can make your own. And it's Himalayan salt, smoked paprika, dried garlic granules, and dried bacon granules. You can buy sort of dehydrated bacon bits, and it's just super yummy. So Himalayan salt, dry smoked paprika, and dehydrated bacon and garlic. that's all it is. And you just find your, I mean, I just pour it in a bowl and then just keep it in a container like this, and I just fill my grinder every time I need it. It's just beautiful. So give it a try. I just thought I'd fill you in on that one. Oh, I reach over for that and found these. my first mandarins off my mandarin tree. Yay! Because we bought a 14-acre block 8 years ago. Well, we bought it more than that because we didn't build on it for a long time, and then we built and have slowly developed it. So I've only just started, with my orchard and my veggie garden. So I get a bit excited about things like my first mandarins. So there we go. They are a little small and hard to peel, and I hope that changes over time and as the tree develops and grows. I think, yeah, but that's nice. Where am I at with the knitting? I'll just check my notes, shall I? I better check my notes. I think there's only one thing left, and that is acquisitions. And as you know, I am saving my money for this weekend retreat, but I had to spend a little bit. So, the wool, the sock wool that I brought, that was an interesting one. So they also had socks ready-made that you could buy. The socks ready-made to buy were $44 for beautiful homemade socks, just stunningly knitted. And the yarn was $16 a skein. So if you ever think $44 is a lot of money, it's not, because $16 for the wool, and then even if you're a very fast knitter, say you got a pair of socks knit in 5 hours, and I think that's been generous. So it's $20, $25, $26. So it's $26 for labor. $5 an hour is basically what that person has got for knitting those beautiful socks. Hence the labour of love. So yeah, I think I was quite taken aback by that. I thought, gosh, firstly I thought $44 for a pair of socks, and then I thought, oh, hang on a minute, how many hours knitting is that, and how much was the wool? So yeah, it's pretty good. Now last month I purchased 52 weeks of socks, and the reason I purchased that was not because I wanted it was because I wanted the 52 weeks of shawls and couldn't find it on my what's it called, Mighty Ape, which is a kind of like Etsy Trade Me type thing. So 52 weeks of shawls. Now, if you know me, and I will put a picture in of all my shawls. I have lived in shawls. I just love shawls. Cotton ones, knit ones, crocheted ones. I just always wear a shawl. So I just bought this book. Now, I love it. It's beautiful. It's got a fabric cover on it. It's almost like a heavy linen, or so it's a beautiful coffee table book, and it's got some stunning work in it, although the pictures are quite muted. There's no sort of out there, it's not Stephen West. They're all very muted colours, the shawls and colours. Like, you can add the colour, but the pictures themselves, the artwork is quite muted. So beautiful book. Obviously I can't read it because of my sight, although I do have a monitor thing that I can put under written word underneath, and it brings it up big. So if I really, really wanted to read it, or if I wanted to, I could photocopy a pattern out of it and put it under that screen, which is a lot of work. But if there's a pattern in there that I love, I will do that. Haven't had time to sit down and really look through it. but it doesn't come in digital. There's no code for digital, which is what I was really hoping. I was hoping I could buy the book as a coffee table book, and then it would have a code so you could download it digitally. It doesn't, you don't. Quite expensive, $89. So it was, took a bit out of my, as you know, and I keep saying this, I just put a few dollars away every week for my crafts, because for my mental health, it's like paying the power bill. I've just got to have that little bit of craft money put aside. So this was an expensive outlay. I love it. So look at me hugging it. I do love it. And of course now I have 2 coffee table books, the shawls and the socks. And I am going to enjoy flipping through those through winter. Really enjoy them. They are, so I can't even read the book to tell you who wrote them. I will link that below so that you can chase that up if you do want them. I do recommend them. They're stunning, stunning books, fantastic coffee table books, fantastic to just flick through and get motivation. And I mean, they all have the patterns, they all have, charts as well. So if you are sighted, you'll enjoy that. Just because I'm not sighted doesn't mean I don't enjoy. There's something about a book, really something about a book. Feel, the smell, yeah. So I am quite chuffed with that little purchase. Big purchase, a lot of money, but that book will, stay with me for years. And I have looked through the sock one and thought, yeah, okay, I can see why people like socks. So I'm getting there. I am starting to get that. I don't want to be one of those podcasts where it's just sock talk every time, because that's not me. I like garments. Well, that's me. Gabbled on. Hope you've enjoyed that. Yeah, so as I say, no FOs this week because it's just been mighty busy with lots of eating. I'm going to have to go on a diet, and lots of do's, changeovers and celebrations and lunches. And so but it's been really special. Been nice to catch up with my friends. I think the real winter has arrived. It is really cold out there. We've had some minus 3, -4 frosts. In the morning, you do get a stunning day with that weather, but yeah, the bad weather is on its way. It'll come here, and then the really bad weather will come just for lambing. Yeah, I must take you out, show you our sheep one day. We have a sheep stud, and the sheep brand is Texels. They're not fantastic wool for knitting garments. They are okay for carpet. They're a small, short fibered sheep, so you don't see Texel wool much, but it is an exquisite meat. It's a higher grade meat. It's more like when you think of Wagyu for beef as being, A grade, that's what Texel is for sheep, really. It's one of those A grade meats. It's just a beautiful meat. So not so great for wool. But we do have a pet sheep 122, and I will introduce you to 122. I'll put a wee photo up today. He's been with us for 8-9 years. Yeah, I'll introduce you to Kenzie and 122 one day. The weather's pretty miserable, so it won't be today. Anyway, happy knitting. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.